All right, so my name is Salaudeen, and Brother Salaudeen, I'm your brother in Islam, Salaudeen. I am not a sheikh, mulvi, scholar, of any of that sort. I'm a simple brother. I'm here to explain to you an Islamic product that the company I work for promotes throughout the United States. And we do Sharia-compliant home financing and Sharia-compliant commercial real estate financing. So there's a PowerPoint that will lead us through today. And what we will learn today, basically, you're probably going to, after this session, you're going to learn about some of our products and services. You're also going to be learning about our Sharia board, what makes our product Islamic and how is it Islamic. The benefits of Islamic finances versus conventional. And I know many of us are probably using conventional because that is the major product on the market right now. But inshallah, as we learn about these products, more we will do more. When I came to the United States when I was 7 years old, we never had halal meat stores in Queens. We used to go all the way to Staten Island and purchase halal meat. Today, alhamdulillah, there's halal meat store just about everywhere. More people are eating halal, alhamdulillah. Similarly, with the banking sector, more persons will be using halal financing as we do that. Types of Islamic financing transaction. Again, I'll explain the different types that we do and what is commonly used in the industry. Affordability, again, Islamic financing is not meant to be more expensive, it's not to be complicated. It's easy, it's simple, and it is affordable. And how to get started. All right, so let's get. So why Islamic finance? We want to, as Muslims, we want to have a complete control of our dealings in whatever which way we do. When we eat, we want to eat halal. When we get married, we want to do it the halal way. When we have children, anything we do, we want to do it in the halal way. And think about it, when we want to buy a $10 meal at a halal restaurant, we insist that we must buy halal. At least those of us, depends on your level of iman, all right? But when it comes to a home for 300,000 and 500,000, we sometimes skip the halal word. We go straight to financing it. So Islamic finance, it's about giving us that peace of mind at the end of the day, that when we are doing something Islamic, we can complete our other aspects of our lives in a Sharia way. Islamic finance, by and large, gives us a peace of mind that at least we are attempting in a little way to do our financing the Islamic way. Sometimes, and we learn in the Quran and in the Hadith, that Allah judges us by our intention. If our intention is to do something good, we have the peace of mind in doing it, and of course we get the blessings for doing it. Islamic finance, again, it's asset-based, asset-backed, and I'll explain to you a little bit more when we go further. And again, why Islamic finance? Again, you're not paying anything more, and you're not paying anything less. With Islamic finances, you have very, very competitive rates, competitive pricing when you use it. So let's talk a bit about the bank itself. University Islamic Finance is a 118-year-old bank in Michigan. In 2005, the owner of the company and the bank is established where there's over 1 million Muslims in Michigan. Everyone knows where Michigan is, right? And that's where a lot of Arab Muslims live, over 1 million. And the bank owner, who's Christian, a Muslim guy walks in his bank one day and asked, you're not really serving my community. You're celebrating all your victories and all your awards, but you've never served me. And the owner's asking this guy, what are we not doing? We're providing great service, great rates, and all this wonderful stuff. So he said, you know what, I'm Muslim and I don't deal with interest. And I want to work with your bank, but I can't. So the owner of the bank brought together some scholars. He himself is a financial scholar himself. He brought together some Muslim scholars and tried to explore what is this all about, what is this Islamic thing, and what is this non-interest kind of financing. So, and that was around 2003. 2005, they established what is called University Islamic Financial, which is a subsidiary of University Bank. So a 100-year-old company that has now a sharia-compliant product. It's backed by Muslim investors. I think about 40% of the company is owned by Muslim investors who have a history of investment in the United States and across the world. We operate in 15 states. Our newest state, of course, is New York and Florida. We've been doing Islamic banking for 10 years, as I explained. Over $400 million in home financing, and over $30 million, sorry, in deposit accounts. You know, the big thing is, where do we get our money from? Where do we get our money from to invest in all that we do? Well, we have thousands of persons investing in our bank. They put their money in our bank. We are a regular bank. Unlike the other Sharia-compliant company that you find in the United States, which are Sharia-compliant in all respect, but they're more or less agents. We are a bank. We use our depositors' funds to fund our deals, and whatever profits are made from that, we share back with our depositors. So it is a profit-sharing account. And over $15 million in commercial contracts. And in fact, this year we have a budget of $10 million for masjids and Islamic centers, Islamic community centers, and schools. So what makes our process legitimate? And these are some of the points that we have. Many of you probably know of AOFI. That's a global Islamic auditing firm that does huge contracts for Citibank and JP Morgan Chase and all these big companies when they want to deal with Islamic countries. Well, they are also auditing all the Islamic banks around the world. We, of course, are a member of that organization. They audit us every 2 years, our contracts and to its finest detail. So those are some other things that we have. Of course, we have an independent Sharia advisory board that is, and you will see the fatwa on it a bit later. We exclusively handle Sharia-compliant transaction. University Islamic Finance only does Islamic transactions. We do not, in any which way mix funds with other products that University Bank hosts. So this is a copy of our fatwa, and these are our three sheikhs. There's three sheikhs who have developed our contracts and have endorsed it in a big way. And these scholars are not only Islamic scholars, but they are modern day financial experts. They know the modern financial institutions and how it operates, and they know the Islamic jurisprudence and Islamic law and Sharia, and they put all that together to create a product for us. Muslims in America are growing. Our need for institutions and our need for products and services are also growing. So we need to ensure that our scholars are up and on these items as we grow as a community. Oh, absolutely.
Sorry, I don't mean to.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so what do? We do, like I said before, we do home financing, we do commercial real estate financing, and of course we do deposit accounts. If you want to open an account with our bank, of course it's not convenient for many of us here because we're in New York. Our bank is located in Michigan. All the locations are in Michigan. So those are the three main products. Our deposit account is a profit sharing account, meaning that if you put your money in it, every 3 months you get share. You share in the profits that the company would have made in its investment in home financing and commercial. And there are three types in Islamic financing. There are three types of transactions. There is what you call Murahaba, which is an installment sale. Murahaba, by and large, is what University Islamic Financial does in terms of its contracts. What it is basically, it's buying a product, putting a markup, and selling it back. If you're an apple vendor on the street, you buy an apple for $1 and you sell it back for $1.50. In Islam, it's okay to do trade and make a profit on trade. It is not okay to make profit on money, and that is the distinct difference in what the scholars have deemed sharia-compliant financing and conventional financing. In conventional financing, if you wanna buy a house for $100,000, the bank will give you $100,000 and will charge you an interest, 5%, let's say, and you pay. So the relationship becomes one of money. Bank gives you money, you give the money, you give the bank back the money with interest. So that's profit and interest. In Islam, that is not allowed because money in itself has no intrinsic value. You can't buy a pile of money or a pound of money. You can't eat money. It has no intrinsic value. A car has value. A home has value. Buildings have value. Equipment, machinery has value. Money doesn't. And that's a fundamental difference between Sharia financing and non-Sharia financing. So in Murabaha, we buy your home, we put a markup on it, the home that you want, and we sell it back to you at a markup rate. So you instead of buying, instead of you paying an interest, you're paying us a profit. Coming back to the apple example, you buy apple for $1. You sell it back for $1.50. That 50 cents is your profit, it's your markup. Trade is halal, riba is not halal. Ijara, and this is a lease to own. We do Ijara loans also. We do it primarily for our commercial properties. Ijara loan is basically you become a renter in the property, and as you pay your rent, you gain ownership in that property. Musharaka, which we do not do, is another credible and very, very useful Islamic tool. Musharaka is a partnership. So if you want to buy a house and I have the money, we'll both buy the house. You will live in it, and you pay me out after a period of time. It's a partnership. So those are the three most used real estate transactions in the United States and probably around the world. So this is an example of a Murabaha transaction with University Islamic Finance. Brother Ahmed finds a house that he likes and he negotiates the price. So Brother Ahmed sees a house, he likes the house, he talks to the seller, and they negotiate a price of $100,000. UIF will now purchase that home for $100,000 from the seller. And we will now resell that home to Brother Ahmed for $115,000. That's in a nutshell what the Murabaha program is, and this is what we do throughout the United States wherever we are licensed. It's very simple and it's very understandable. You become owner of your property from day one. University Islamic Finance, like the apple vendor, again, buys the apple, buys the house, owns it for a period of time until you buy it back from us, and you become owner of that property from the time you sign documents on closing. So this is an example of what a 10-year loan can look like for $100,000. What the Murabaha program? This is some basic features of our Murahaba program. The down payment is as low as 5%. I know down payment is always an issue. You want to keep as many cash fluid as possible, and the Murahaba program is perfect for that. We do 15, 20, 30, 10 years in terms of the terms. So you have flexibility. You can pay it off at any time you want. I think we'll get to that. We do purchases and refinancing using Murahaba, 1 to 4 unit primary resident or investment property. We do, and of course we do cash out refinancing also. The biggest question is, can I pay off my loan, in 2 years or 5 years if I win the halal lottery? Yes, you can. You can pay it off. If your friend gives you $1 million, if he wins it, and he gives you $1 million, if he's still your friend, you can pay it off, and there's no penalty. And more importantly, in the Murahaba program, you save on the profit that you would have paid us. So if you were paying us like Ahmed is paying us $15,000 in 10 years. If he pays in 5 years, he will only be paying us $7,500 in profit, half of the amount. Our advantage, of course, the University of Islamic Finance, we do adhere strictly to the Sharia compliance as outlaid by the sheikhs and the program. There's quite a few other institutions that uses the Murahaba. I don't know if many of you know, but there was a HSBC once carried this program. They no longer carry it. And there's another bank somewhere in Chicago that carries a similar program. And they're all endorsed by the same sheikh. So we adhere to the dots and the T's of the contract. Murahaba by nature is one of the cheapest programs there is, as against the other programs, which is Ijara and Musharaka. You become owner of it. It's very tidy. It's very easy. It's simple, and it's the lowest cost. We of course we have because we are 118 years old. The company itself, it has great back-end support for you. Whether it's processing, underwriting, titling, the service is equal to none in the industry here. So we can, from beginning to end, we can show you and we'll guide you through to ensure that your experience is fast and a healthy one. And of course, fast approval, which I just mentioned. Whenever we complete a contract, we always send out a survey. And our survey comes back 93% satisfaction rating with all of our customers. So that is a pretty healthy number that we think shows that we're doing something right somewhere. These are some commonly asked questions. Is Islamic financing more expensive? And I think I've kind of spoken about this quite a few times. No, Islamic finance is not more expensive. It's very, very competitive. At one time it was when there weren't enough Muslims using it. It was expensive at a time when it was now developing, and to get all the to get the right consultants to kind of create the contract. A contract of this nature cost over $200,000-300,000. Someone has to pay for it. So it was at one time very expensive. But because all of that is now behind us, and we can now duplicate the process over and over and over again, it has become very, very competitive. And for those of you who I've been speaking to about Sharia financing and how we can work with your deal, you'll see how competitive, if not the same price, as any other bank, conventional and Islamic. Can I prepay on my contract? Of course, definitely. Like I said, there's no prepaid penalty, there's no additional fees, there's no adjustments, there's no points that has to be paid if you want to prepay. We encourage it. And like I was telling our brother earlier, Islamic finance is not about yes, while we are a for-profit business organization, the point of Islamic finance is convenience. You're not coming to us because you have all the money. You come to us because you don't have all the money. And Islamic finance should not be a burden. It should be a convenience. It should be a way to show you out of where you are and where you know, and the asset that you want to purchase. So definitely you can prepare your contracts. Source of funds, like I said, our funds comes from our depositors. We have about $50 million in our deposit accounts that we use to purchase and homes for you. And when you pay us back, we make profit. That profit goes back to some of those profit goes back to our depositors. Our application process and time frame. We are a full documentation company. We require all your documents as stipulated by federal and state regulators. So we are looking at W-2s, we look at tax returns, we look at pay stubs, we look at bank statements, we look at all the stuff. You know, at one time, giving a loan was easy, and that's not a Sharia way either, because that way created the mess we're in today, where everyone was getting a loan, and because you had a nice name and your social security was the number, you had one, you got a loan. You know, that is over, and today the banks are very, very tight. It does not in any which way contradicts Sharia compliancy. You know, if W-2 and 2011 taxes, you know, producing that and showing it to us that you can prepare your loan is part of Sharia compliancy also. And the time frame, we've closed deals in 3 weeks. We've done in 3 months. Depends on how ready the customer is, how ready his documents are. You know, sometimes there are 20 delays, issues. But from our end, a total of about 3 weeks is what we require to get all our documentation in place. Refinances is much faster, of course. Purchasing has its can be anywhere between 30 to 45 days. IRS tax benefits, like any other bank, the profit that you pay us can be deducted from your bank, can be claimed, and you do receive your forms for that, so that you can claim your taxes. These are some recognitions that we've received over the years. We've received recognition from the Vatican at one time in 2009, when all the banks were kind of imploding, and there were issues in how they dealt with customers. The Vatican did pinpoint Islamic finance, not necessarily University Bank, but Islamic finance as one approach, an ethical approach towards looking at the relationship between people and their financing companies. Some of our clients, of course, and we received testimonials from Imam Muhammad Majid from ISNA, President of ISNA, Imam Zaid Shakir, Hamza Yusuf, Imam Tahir Anwar. And of course, we still have a list of imams who purchase from us. This is my contact info. I'll take your call whenever you call, inshallah. Hopefully it's not 1 o'clock in the morning. But I do have clients who call at 1 o'clock in the morning, believe it or not. You know, I can help you anytime, inshallah. I hope I was somewhat useful, and I opened your appetite for Islamic finance. We can have a discussion on it now if you have questions. If you have anything you want to ask, I'll be glad to discuss it with you.